league.
You know, the thing what I would say with that is I remember that period where none of them was scoring, all four of them, no one was scoring up front. But defensively, we were really, really solid. And we are very solid defensively. I think without the ball, we're the best team out of ball possession. And so what we're hoping is going to happen now is that, you know, the conversation is always they need a number 9. You need somebody to take the half chance. I've even said it myself, but with the guys scoring now, that will be the test. You know, when you get into one of those games with the low block, can you break them down? That's what we're going to have to do. But one thing that I am confident that we could do, apart from Porto, is defend. Defend solidly, because that's what you've got to build it on. And then you've got to hope that when they get the chances, they take them. Because we haven't got the number 9 at the moment, and we're not going to get him. So it's going to have to come from within. So the main thing for me, what I love about what Arsenal are doing at the moment, is how well they are without the ball. Defensively, how well they're doing in set pieces. So, you know, you have to hang on, because you know what City have got, you know Liverpool's experience as well. And you just have to hang on and stay in there, and that's what they're doing.
Righty, we've not talked about the goalkeeping situation anymore. Early on in the season, we was. Is Raya an upgrade?
Well, you say he's an upgrade, but if you look at his numbers, yeah, his numbers are better. You know, you can't argue with that. Arsenal seem to attack more with him. He's collecting more balls in the air and stuff like that, which is the margins, I suppose, that Mikel was going for. It still seems like you can't see the margins, but if you look at the numbers and the data, Arsenal seem to be playing better when he's in goal.
It's also the speed of movement that you have with David Raya, because he just makes it all go so quickly. Yeah. And I think that's what Arsenal need, because that's their tactical weapon, is that they move the ball so quickly and then overload and then find the spaces to then strike the ball. But I think this is how you can really define a good project and a great manager. And one of that is that they built from the back. And so they made sure that their midfield is perfect and that their backline's perfect. If their backline has problems, then, you know, one-on-one, Zinchenko will move to midfield, Gabriel will start doing the one-on-ones. They understand the limitations of their players. They also understand the strengths, which one is better at what. And that they can move their chess pieces, you know, whether it's Kai Havertz, whether it's bringing in Jorginho, whether it's using Trossard now. And I think that what is brilliant about Arteta is that he's understood he doesn't have a number 9, so he's maximised the potential of his players. That means maximising set pieces. Okay, let's score from those. Let's get the fundamentals right. And having that ability to build from the back allows you to sometimes sacrifice not having a number 9. Because if you can get goals from everywhere else by teaching the game well enough and understanding how to cover for the limitations of some of your players and how to actually exude or fortify the strengths of yours, then this is what we have right now with Arsenal. I mean, the ability... Nobody can win it I think only Manchester City can win as much possession in their final, in the way that they do in the opponent's box. And they've done it 11 times in the first half. And each year that figure keeps going up. Now they average 6 times that they win possession and then just strike. So when you do that, you're basically provoking mistakes, which allows you easier goals. So you can have an abundance of different goal scorers. But this is what good coaching and a good project looks like.
And keeping your 2 centre-backs fit. Last year they lost Saliba, didn't they? And it was a big blow for them, I think, keeping them fit. But they look right. They're cruising through games at the moment.
And they're not exhausted despite playing in all these different... and that's what happens also when you have a happy dressing room with Saka, who's a good guy, and everyone it looks very happy. And it seems like it just doesn't affect them how tired they could be.
Jorginho, like you mentioned, Jorginho with Declan Rice, and when they're doing the double pivot, then Declan's got the licence to go. Jorginho's the one that keeps everything moving very quickly. He can take a pass and one touch and you're in. Newcastle, if we're going to be totally honest, Kels, I was very surprised. I thought that they were going to be putting a lot more pressure at the back and try to do a mid-block at least, so they can win the ball in an area where they can get their pace going with Gordon, with Isak, with Almiron. We didn't give them the opportunity to play Arsenal. Did not give them the opportunity to get on the ball. Guimaraes, I think he got taken off in the game. Didn't get anywhere near the game. And this is what I'm saying. Arsenal, without the ball, are so intense.
It's interesting you talked about Newcastle, because obviously they've had injuries, but they look exhausted at this stage of the season. The sort of physical intensity that we've seen from them has dropped off enormously, and injuries might well be a big part of that. Whereas you look at Arsenal, who, as you said, look full of energy, and particularly since they went on that mid-season break to Dubai, and it just seems to have cleared any cobwebs that might have been remaining for them, because their form since then has been incredible.
Well, they all look fit, don't they? They all look ready to go. I think it was a welcome break for them. Little warm weather as well out there, and listening to the manager and impressing small details what he does with the group. But I just think when you're winning games, you don't feel the tiredness. I think with Newcastle, I'm not sure it's their legs what are tired, it's their minds. You know, they're losing games. Last year, they were winning football matches all of the time, and you've got that upbeat feeling around the dressing room and the training ground. And at the moment, it must be dead in there, you know, really, really bad. And, you know, I worry for Eddie. I really do. I think it would be a poor decision to get rid of him, but I think he gave him too much too early last season. I think losing Dan Ashworth's a big blow to him. I think he was the cool head. I think he would have been his cushion to say, hold on a minute, let's not make any rash decisions here. All of a sudden, they've lost him. He's going to go to Man United, isn't he? And, you know, their decision-making now might be, let's go and get a trophy manager. It would be a poor decision, in my opinion. I think he's earned the right for him to stick by him. But unfortunately, there's a lot of clubs now who are run by people who don't know the game.
It's one thing to compare Eddie Howe with other managers and say he's doing a better job than most managers could do in that situation. But if we compare like for like, Newcastle at this stage of last season had conceded 19 goals. This season, they've conceded 45. Yeah. So it's clear where the drop-off and where the change has been.
Well, Eddie,
for them.
you know the Eddie answer will be the injuries. I mean,
is he not right in saying? I mean,
you know, he's going to get the blame. He's going to get the blame for it. And you put him into a game like that with an Arsenal team coming off of a Porto loss, having to get it back right at home. You know, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. You know, and like I say, Newcastle, and you rightly say, Kels, they do look tired against an Arsenal side that look like they're full of energy. That goalkeeper was going to be under a lot of pressure. Yeah. And unfortunately for him, you know, there's not much he could have done about those goals, but that's just the way it is. And like Arsenal are just very ruthless at the minute, and they've just got to keep doing that.
Yeah. Like you said, though, Manchester City hitting their favourite part of the season. They dropped points last weekend against Chelsea with the 1-1 draw, but very much back on form again. Well, back on form in terms of the result against Bournemouth, but are they back on form in terms of the performance? And if they weren't, which I'm sort of implying with my question, does that even matter at this stage? It wasn't great,
but I thought they played better against Chelsea. I really did. I thought Chelsea were a threat, had a counter threat in the first half. I thought they got too much credit in the second half. I thought they played like a championship side against Man City, just camped in their box and got away with it. And Disasi was celebrating, making block tackles. You know, I just think they opened them up time and time again. If Haaland took his chances, they would have won the game 4-1. Phil Foden at the moment is just sensational. I mean, for me, he's just standing up. Kevin De Bruyne is not obviously fit. He come on for the last 5 minutes of this game. It's good to have Haaland back there. He'll get fitter and fitter. He's obviously integral to everything they do. You know, he can not take part in the game for like 20 minutes, and all of a sudden he just muscles someone off the ball and just gets a shot off, and Phil just tucks it in. But Phil Foden's at the heart of everything good they do. He's top drawer, top drawer.
So if we're looking at the title race, what's gonna be where either of those or any of those three teams slip up? What's going to be what costs them if they don't win the league? So for Manchester City, can we see any major
head-to-heads
or minor flaws head-to-heads against Liverpool and Arsenal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's where Arsenal have the advantage, having beaten both Liverpool.
Well, it's like I said, it's like we saw Liverpool's fixtures, and Liverpool have got City. Liverpool already know that, you know, and it's not being disrespectful to the other teams, whether you're home or away, but Liverpool know that they have to beat Man City. So everybody in between that have to be beaten, or they cannot lose, because they know that City can go on that run and they can continue to win games. I thought Bournemouth done well in the second half, but City in the first half, again, you know what I mean, some of the finishing, you know, City could have been a couple more goals up. And what they showed, and what Bournemouth showed teams, that if they don't take them, because Erling Haaland, at the moment, he's having that patch where he's not quite connecting, he's still miskicking a couple, even the one for Phil's goal, he miskicked it, and the goal, he parried it. But they're in that period where they're not ruthlessly blasting teams. Yeah. And so if you can get away, you saw Chelsea nearly beat them. You see Bournemouth, they had chances, Bournemouth could have got something. And the only thing that can stop City, because we know their experience, is if they do not take those chances and they concede late on. You look at Liverpool, it's going to come down to, with Liverpool, the experienced players come back. What can you say? They've got, you know, Alisson Becker's going to come back, the defence is going to be strong, the midfield's going to be, and then you're going to get Mo Salah back. So you're thinking, where's the weakness? going to be in Liverpool apart from, and they've got their manager leaving at the end of the season, so they've got an extra 20% in them. And for me, Arsenal, yes, they're defending brilliantly this season. They've got to continue to do that. Again, it's going to come down to those half chances taken. That's what's going to have to happen with Arsenal.
It's just going to come down to the smallest of margins, and hopefully it stays